Hi everyone, Scrappy Cathy here. I'm adjusting the camera. Not sure how long it'll stay in that position. Today I'm doing my Dotty About Flair design team page, and we're doing all month, all of the design team are doing 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And this is today's sketch. I've used it as a practice page for some splatters on my last layout. And so that's what those are. It's gorgeous. It's two vertical photos with some leaves and flowers kind of peeking out from underneath. There's a cluster here and a cluster here, and then look like a flower there, and then some splatters, it looks like, down the side here and maybe up top there. So I'm going to stick pretty close to the sketch, and I'll show you, since the daft prompt is punches or dies, I will show you the punches and dies I'm using. I punched the cutest little speech bubble out of some Vicky Bouton scrap in the perfect color orange to go with the collection I'm using, which is No Limits by Coco Vanilla. And it's a boy collection, and I'm doing girl photos, and that's okay. So that's the punch I used. It is a, what kind of punch? I don't see a brand on it, so I must have picked it up at a big box store. Just a little speech bubble. My dies are, first of all, this is called Fancy Leaf Branch. It's Pink Fresh. It's a Pink Fresh die, and it was designed by Ina Moreva. And if I'm not mistaken, this was a free with purchase kind of a thing a while back, and it kind of got lost in a group of dies, and I just kind of rediscovered it a couple days ago and had it out saying I want to use this for a layout, and then along comes the sketch that has the perfect spot for it. And I'm also using the Altenew Flowing Foliage die set, which are these really open leaves. And I have cut them out of these two papers from No Limits. The foliage is, well, I've actually cut all the foliage from both papers, and I'm going to kind of mix and match them there. And I'm using Coco Vanilla flowers from Sunkissed. I've picked the yellow and the orange flowers. And then I have ephemera from both No Limits and These Days, just to tuck in to the clusters. If there's an obvious way to get an extra Calvinball point, you know I'll do it. But I'm not going to junk this one up with Calvinball points. I say that and people correct me, but I'm going to use a combination of one of these word bits and this alpha for my title. I've got this just handy because I love the word strips. Coco Vanilla does the best word strips. And then I've got, I want to put at least one of these little glittery puffy hearts on there. So let's get started. I have already one of the things I liked about the sketch is that the photos are matted like a shadow, like a drop shadow. So I did that with wood grain. I think I'll do them in this order. And I backed them with foam to lift them up so that I can tuck things underneath, because, you know, we're tucking the that foliage under there. Oh, I've also got out my Fern Gully sequins. I don't know about you, but this is probably my favorite sequin mix in the history of sequin mixes. It's got all the gorgeous colors, and so it's got that darker teal color that really is going to go nicely with the papers I've chosen. I've got the foliage coming from that dark teal. Well, foliage is also coming from the rainbow, but go figure. And of course, I have Dotty About Flair pieces. Because she's coloring in this one, I thought that in the cluster that's down close to here, I would put in this custom one that was done for Scrappy Retreat, the Scrapping Reflections Retreat. And this one is from the January release, which is the most recent release that I have. And its color just really goes nicely with the greens that the filter kind of brought out in this picture. If you're wondering what the photos are, in here, she's just gotten out of the pool and she's playing with the wind chimes that we had hanging from the overhang of this like beach bar. It was a redwood bar, and I painted it teal for the outline, and then rainbow strips. I painted each strip a different color, so that was fun. And then I've got this baby squirrel, also a custom Flair. So I thought I'd put that one over here, and so they'll kind of be arranged like that, I think. We'll see. Okay. First thing I want to do is get out the foliage that will tuck under come out from under the photos. I had thought, my idea was that this one, that I would layer them. I'd kind of have this one up, and then I'd layer the multicolor one on top of it, and maybe have them coming out different widths. Let me tuck this under and see if that idea is gonna have any merit. Before I put any glue down, I kind of want to do that, and then I'll do the same thing here. And maybe what I want to do is put the teal underneath like that, and then layer this in under the photo, or just right at that border, so they're actually at different heights. I think I like that idea, so let's get this situated so it stops moving around, and that's kind of a pipe dream because it's going to be on wet glue and it will continue to move around. But maybe I can lift this up enough, and then making sure it's at the at the same depth down here is going to be fun. But we'll eyeball it, and if it's imperfect, they'll know a human did it, right? Okay, let me get this up here, raise that up. That looks like that's gonna work. I love this paper, these papers, this collection. I had a chance to pre-order it from Scrapbook Your Joy, and as soon as it was, shipping to places, they were just right on the ball and got it to me. So I've kind of offset that a little bit so that that looks like shadow, and I offset it downward, which is the same thing I'll do there. Okay, and I can kind of, once the glue dries, I can work on getting those curled up differently. But I like that so far. Okay, so I thought I would do the small yellow flower here with the two smaller, I'm going to use the same pattern of leaf cut from the two different papers kind of up in here. I'll put the flower in the corner and have the greenery. Heck, let's do the greenery first, get it glued down, and then we can get the flower on there. And I can curl that up later, and I'll have this maybe overlapping the photo there. There we go. And then where's my little flower? I have a pop dot on that. So I kind of just want to do something simple there and work the Flair in. This Flair is called Mermaid, and since she had just gotten out of the pool and was indeed a little mermaid in those days. Okay, I have lost my other foliage, and you all probably see exactly where it is. I may have dropped it on the floor. Here it is. It stuck to my arm and dropped on the floor. So I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I'll do the foliage kind of coming out like that, and I have the larger yellow flower, and I'll kind of twirl it like that. And this one's going to have the baby squirrel, so I kind of want to know where it's going to be in order to place everything else. I think I'll do the baby squirrel on this side, and then I can have those. Okay, that'll work. I'm going to put the squirrel there first, and then we'll build everything around the Flair, because that's the way it ought to be, right? It's all about the Flair. And I will put the flower kind of there so that it doesn't hide the squirrel. And now I'll put the foliage. There we go. And okay, there we go. And I have some tiny little butterflies, which I'll figure out what to do with later. I thought I would do the, like, right here, this is her hand coloring this coloring page that she got in a restaurant. And you can't really tell it's a hand, so I don't mind kind of covering that up with this flower. And I like that the surrounding rainbow bits are mostly the teal, because they contrast nicely with the orange there. And I'm gonna do this flare kind of tucked under here this way. Okay, so I've got my main clusters done. I have this little speech bubble that needs to go somewhere, or does it? I go with my ums again. I have to stop that. Maybe I'll do it here as if the squirrel is saying something, and I'm going to put a butterfly on the speech bubble. I popped it up on 2 layers of foam dots to kind of get it up above the up above the level of the squirrel. That's too much. I don't like that. If there were more around here, and there isn't going to be, I'm going to just get a new one. It would be fine. I've used it many times that way, but I'm not going to do that on this page. So I'm going to do this, and you'll get to see the little bubble there. And I'm going to squeeze up a little butterfly. And put it right there. And that black and white just gives it such a pop. Now, I haven't spaced out. Ideally, my title would go there and kind of bridge those two clusters. But I'm going to do this one up here kind of on the page. And let's see how big. My title's going to be Awesome Concentration. So it's going to be fairly long words. And I guess I could also, I like this word totally, and instead of concentration, it could say concentrating, and I could run it along here in place of those splatters and leave this kind of clean. I could maybe move it up. Let me see if I have enough letters. I have enough N's and I have a G. So let's do that. Is there another word that might? There's you got this. How about we use you got this? Now, let's do, I want the word concentrating in there. Bless her heart, she has a little trouble concentrating these days, and she calls it chemo brain. So let's see. I'm going to raise this up with some bits of foam. Let me cover that and turn it upside down so it doesn't get too bad. I can put a big one there. I can put a skinny one, skinny-ish one there, and a skinnier one here. And I love these big title words that come in the collections. Each one's a little bit different, but they kind of mix and match across collections. I could say totally got this, and that would be, but it doesn't use my word concentration. Let me turn it this way so I am going to say totally got this, and then I'll use the word concentration in my journaling. So I'm going to start with the S. There is no S. I didn't need one for concentration. Well, let's do concentrating. I'm going to start with the G because I know where I want the word to end. Let's see. I don't know who makes these little alphas. I got this in a Mind the Scrap kit, and I have pulled it out of the packaging. And so I'm sorry that I can't tell you. It actually came with two different colors of the same size and font. Hopefully I can spell concentrating. I'm going to use an upside down V for my A. R. And another T. I'm sure this is fascinating, watching somebody lay down alphas and still not get them in a straight line. I will not make you watch me go back and rejigger each one. Concentrating, do that. All right, there's one of my N's that I need. And I don't have an E, so what I'm gonna do is put an F there with a little tiny piece of a letter. That I've cut. Constant, I need a C. Another N. I ought to have just started doing totally concentrating. I hope I'm spelling that right. And it turns out that it's a longer word than I expected, so I kind of thought it would end up there, so I probably should have done something there. Now, I'm going to lead you now through, before I do the sequins, through the ephemera packs and sticker packs to see if there's anything I feel like I need to use. I'm going to put this little heart maybe right there. And in here, there was a little stack of books. And I like the little stack of books, but I'm not sure if the colors will work here. And I'm not, of course I'm not finding it, and I should have pulled it out ahead of time. Here's the little stack of books. Now I could, let me do that. I'm gonna do this and kind of, it doesn't necessarily go with the colors of the collection, but it does go with the colors in the photo, right there. So that's kind of cute. I'm going to push all these together and say that's all I'm going to use from there. I'll put them all back in here. Like I said, I really don't want to add a bunch of things willy-nilly just for Calvinball points, because I really want this page to show off the cute Flair. I picked the Flair first almost from everything. In here there was a little rocket ship, and I'm not quite sure how I could work that in, and it kind of depends. There are actually 3 rocket ships and an arrow that I dearly love. So again, I'm going to have to dump them all out on the desk. There's a ticket also. Okay, here's the rocket ship that I liked. It has a lot of that teal, and it could maybe just go right there. Or could kind of sneak back in there. I like it here. And I'm just going to have it flat. And kind of tucked in by the, let's see, by the squirrel. But I do want the point to show. Okay, there. And I've got a little ticket here. And I'm going to tuck it in right there. And I have a star Actually, I'm going to use this because it's well, it's not really a banner. I'm going to use this one. And maybe put it just right there. And I forget what the other element was that I saw in here that, well, there's an arrow. There's a graduated, there we are. This arrow is beautiful. And I don't know that it, oh, right there. And I'm going to put it flat on the page, which I don't usually do, but it's got a different white border around it, so I think it's going to stand out anyway. And I'm just going to kind of push these over, and now we'll do some sequins. And then we're done, except for if I find some word strips that are cute. Okay. These guys have, I'm just going to kind of do a little trail of them. These have the darker teal that's maybe a little more turquoise, a little less gray than the but if you put that next to the green, it just kind of works. And then it's got these kind of bronze looking ones. And then the cutest little, in the mixes, I just love the little tiny ones like that, they're cupped a little bit differently, and they're just perfect. So here is an iridescent teal that I think is going to be amazing there. Okay. So there. And then I'm going to add a few over in here. A little bit different mix of them. There's a solid one, and I'll bet that these right here could very well have been sequins in Sarah's mind when she was designing it, because she designs lots of the sequin mixes for Spiegel Mom Scraps. Okay, and here I'm going to add in a color, just because it's in the mix, mind you. I'm going to add in a color that's not anywhere else on the page, just as an accent there. And then I think I'll put some over here. A whole slew of them kind of down this edge, and maybe two there and one here, just to let me get this covered up. Where's my lid? And I think these colors are going to really make this orange arrow stand out. These are all kind of cool colors in here. And I think it's still it will have a few Calvinball points, not a lot. And in fact, today is a day when if you do a page that has fewer than 10 points, you automatically get 50. And it's to allow for one day in a Calvinball month to do minimalist pages. And this one isn't going to be that minimal. I think there are going to be more than 10 points here. The die cutting is 1. The speech bubble is 2. The star is 3. The rocket ship is 4. The butterfly is 5. The 2 different fonts are 6. The sequins are 7. The books are 8. Gold is 9. Glitter is 10. Heart is 11. So more than 10 points right there. So anyway, this is not about Calvinball. This is about Flair and the wide variety. And I absolutely love this page, and I don't think it would have the oomph. I love everything about the collection, and I can kind of start curling these up and showing that kind of double row there. And I've got a loose sequin, and you know what that means. I have to glue it down. There are no loose sequins. We don't allow loose sequins. Okay, so done. Thank you for watching, and by the time you see this, the new release will have been announced, and so be sure and check the website. And if you want a discount, you can use my code, which is Kathy10, and I'll put all this in the description box and when I post it around on social media. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.